Hey guys, my name is Meow, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Ubisoft Battle Royale game called Hyper Scape. I was always wondering when Ubisoft was going to be making a game in this genre, and it comes with a couple of interesting twists. Now, it does function very similar to every other Battle Royale game out there, but what makes it interesting is the map itself. Everything is set in a virtual world, a virtual city, where the map changes dynamically. Unlike every other BR game out there where there is a zone, a circle that slowly closes until things are really concentrated, this one doesn't really do that. Because it is a virtual world, the map actually just kind of disappears in front of you. It's kind of amazing. And so those buildings that normally would have been cover are no longer cover anymore, and it also doesn't just have a circle. You guys will notice as we're kind of flying in here, the map already starts constricted and then slowly kind of closes in, but not necessarily a circle like we're all used to. It's sort of piecemealed together. And so the result of this is some really unique gameplay. You can have moments where the only playable area is a long strip in front of you. Everything to the left and the right is no man's land. There's literally nothing out there. Then you have to push through the other team if you want to get to the next playable zone because yours is about to disappear. Now, one thing that is worth noting is that if you are outside the playable arena, you got caught out, you were in an extended engagement with someone, and then you finally won, you have to make your way to the next playable zone, you're not going to take a significant amount of damage. Now, some people might be a little hesitant when they hear that and think that, oh, people are just going to sit outside of the zone the entire match because they're trying to avoid conflict so that they can win the game, and that might happen, but I want to reiterate, as the zone disappears, literally every building in front of you goes away with it. And so yes, you can sit out there for quite some time. The damage might slowly tick up and eventually take you out, but you have literally nothing to hide behind. And so if anyone is in the area, they're going to be able to see you clear as day and probably have no problem taking you out. Another interesting aspect about the game is the way that they handle picking up different weapons and abilities. There are abilities in Hyper Scape, but unlike in Apex Legends where you choose a character and they have a predefined different set of abilities that you can only use, you can pick up any single one of them around the map and change your strategy depending on the situation. If you and your team value high mobility, you can pick up the teleport ability, which is literally going to teleport you a short distance in front of you, making you a much harder target to lock down. You can pick up Slam, which will literally launch you into the air at extreme speeds and allow you to essentially fly around for a short duration. If your team values maybe a more defensive playstyle, you can put up a gigantic wall, which will literally stay there, I believe, the entire match until it takes a certain amount of damage. Behind that wall, you then place down a healing field, and everyone in your team is going to heal a lot faster than normal. It is worth noting that there are no healing items in Hyper Scape. If you take some damage, either you need to use this one ability to bring yourself back up a little bit quicker, or you're gonna have to wait and take no damage for a short duration to get yourself all the way back up to full. You will eventually fully regenerate, but it does take some time. There's also no armor in Hyper Scape to give you that slight advantage against other players if they were not lucky enough to get armor themselves. Everyone is gonna have essentially the same health pool the entire match, and so you're really gonna have to rely on those other resources to come out on top. I really believe that this is going to be the meats and potatoes and what sets it apart from other Battle Royale games out there. These abilities are on short cooldowns. You're going to be popping them regularly, flying around the map or using them defensively, and it's really going to allow for some interesting dynamic gameplay. I'm excited to see the different synergies and what teams use readily to their advantage and win the game. Now, as for the weapons that you have at your disposal, there's also a fair amount of variety. A lot of the things that you would expect, like snipers and shotties and things of that nature, but there's also some things that are a little less conventional. One of the weapons, and I can't remember its name exactly, but essentially launches a gigantic ball of electricity, and wherever it lands, it does a significant amount of damage. It might be difficult to take someone out at long range with this, but if they're camping inside of a building, this could be a great way at flushing them out. There's a lot of different variants in the types of weapons that you're going to be able to use, and so there's probably gonna be something that is going to suit your playstyle. Now, every weapon, with a couple of exceptions, is going to take a while to actually drop another player in front of you. This isn't like Call of Duty, where if you don't see them and they see you, you have literally no time to react because you basically get taken out instantaneously. I would say that this is more similar to something like Apex Legends, where there is more give and take. You're gonna have to be more consistent with your shot, and you're gonna have to be the better player if you do want to come out on top. One thing that can give you an edge over other players, though, because this is a BR game, you will be able to upgrade your weapons throughout the match. If you pick up a shotty, for example, and then you find more throughout the game, you can just run over to it, hold down your pickup button, and it will upgrade that weapon. And so as you go on and you find more and more, it'll give it slight bonuses. Maybe it will give you more rounds in the mag, maybe you'll have a little bit more damage if you fully upgrade it, and by the end, it's going to be slightly better than just the stock version. Now, I didn't have enough time to play the game to really get a firm grasp of how much better these upgrades are, but it is one way that you can set yourself apart and give you that slight edge if you are going against someone who is essentially around your same skill level. This system also extends on over to the different abilities that you're going to be picking throughout the match. If you find teleport at the start and then you find more and more as the match progresses, by the end, it can be fully upgraded and have a very fast cooldown, and so your mobility is going to be through the roof. This extends to everything in the game, and so this is just kind of another layer that you have to consider. If you haven't noticed, the game is very streamlined. You're not having to worry about health and armor pickups. There isn't even any different types of ammo. You basically just run up to a weapon, pick it up, you find more of them, it upgrades, you find different abilities, you upgrade those as well, and then go about your day. Some people might like that simplicity, and some people that may not be up their alley, but that was what the developers were going for. Another unique mechanic to Hyper Scape is the way that they try to keep players engaged, even if you get taken out at the start of a round. If you are unlucky enough to die at the beginning, you don't just spectate your teammates, you actually will run around as a kind of ghost where I don't believe other players can see you, but you can ping and make callouts to your teammates. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do anything other than that, so all you're going to be able to provide is information, but you can run ahead and scout it out and let your teammates know kind of what's happening in front of them. And so they're trying to add a more team play element, even if you were the one that got taken out at the start. You're also going to have the capability of getting back into the action and reviving yourself. If your teammates were lucky enough to take out another player with your impeccable callouts, that player is going to drop a respawn beacon. All you then have to do as your ghost is walk up to the beacon, your friend will hold down the button, and you're right back into the action. Now, on paper, this all sounds great because you're going to stay engaged throughout the round, you're going to be making callouts, that's going to be really beneficial. In reality, it's a lot more difficult than it sounds. Because there is a slow time to kill, you're not going to be able to melt someone and then quickly just respawn your teammate out of nowhere. If it's a 3v2, you're at a significant disadvantage in this game, making it very challenging. And to my understanding, there isn't going to be any passive respawn beacons that are scattered around the map. Maybe I'm wrong and I just didn't realize it, but it seemed like you had to take out another team to be able to have that capability of bringing yourself back on in. Now, maybe you can get lucky and come across a fight that already ended and there's a bunch of spawn beacons all over the place, but I didn't find that that happened all that often. Maybe I just needed to give it more time, but that was one thing that I noticed. Another issue that I have is that while the city looks amazing, a lot of the interiors do not. Almost all of the loot is inside of buildings, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but almost every single one of these interiors looks plain and boring. Almost looks like a completely different video game. Now, there are a couple of exceptions here, especially the more monumental buildings. They have unique layouts, but pretty much everything else is just a staircase and plain walls and a couple of loot spots here and there. This could be because it's still in development, or because this is a giant city, there's only so many ways, or there's only so much you can kind of expect from a developer to make every room unique and different, but it was one thing that I noticed. And so all in all, with a couple of exceptions, I am really excited to see what happens with Hyper Scape. It doesn't do anything revolutionary, but what it does is at least unique enough that I think is going to add a couple of twists that people will enjoy. Now, if you're wondering how you yourself can gain access to the game because you think it looks intriguing, the only way that I'm aware that you're able to do so is through Twitch drops. You have to watch designated streamers for a short while, and that will give you a chance to get invited to the game. Eventually, it will become free to play and the floodgates will open and everyone will have access, but for a short duration, this will be the only way to actually go about it. I personally will be streaming the game over on my Twitch channel, and so if you'd like to check it out with me and kind of discover what this game has to offer, I will be doing that over the next couple of days. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about Hyper Scape. Are you intrigued? Are you not at all? You think that Battle Royale genre is too saturated already? Give me your guys' thoughts down below. But yeah, guys, until next time, have a good one and take it easy.